Yeah, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Comedy Factory Comedy Chat. It's actually a Wednesday morning. This will be airing Wednesday night. Got a great guest today, my great friend. She's an awesome comedian, author, actress, the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame inductee, the Ladies' Room, Woman Behind Bars. She was in Charlie Hall's great theater shows, Aging Disgracefully, Ocean State Follies, TV shows. She had a few. One of them was Road Bites, The Unreal Deal, right?
Yep.
Doreen Collins. How you doing, Doreen?
Thank you. I'm smoking I'm up to 2 packs a day on these things. I'm great, John. How are you?
It's Wednesday morning. You're having your coffee. I got you out of bed for this, didn't I?
No, sad. I've been up since 5. This is a great time for me. I'm peaking right now at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yes. I'd say I got dressed up for you, but I didn't. I put a robe on.
You got a robe on. So we got Doreen Collins with a robe.
That's me, baby. And I'm drinking. I gave up coffee, but I'm drinking a Starbucks right now. So I may as well have done 2 big fat lines of cocaine.
Oh man. So, why did you give up coffee?
Because I have acid reflux.
Yeah, I had that.
That's what they tell me. And my voice will get, I was having trouble with my voice. And they said, stop drinking coffee and wine.
Yeah.
John.
That's what you do.
I drink coffee from the minute I get up until I can change over to drinking wine.
Oh, man.
I gave them both up for 2 weeks. And then I chose to go back to wine for medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
But coffee I only do when I'm doing Zoom meetings.
Yeah,
How are you?
I got my iced coffee right here. I have to,
okay, so you...
I have acid reflux. They put me on medication for it. It helped me a lot. There's a medicine they can give you.
But isn't that Prilosec, and doesn't that cause cancer?
I'm on something else called Protonic or something like that. I'd have to let you know, but I'm on something else. I hope it doesn't cause cancer.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's all you need.
I already beat it. I already beat cancer 5 years ago. I don't need to get it from a pill now.
Exactly.
So what have you been up to, Doreen? I gotta ask you before we get going. I saw on your website at age 8, you were on stage with Diana Ross and the Supremes. I'm like, well, how did this come about at age 8? Where was it, and how did it happen?
And I dug up that picture, which this is a first time reveal. I've never dug this picture up for anybody else, mainly because it's a really crappy picture. But here's the picture.
Yep.
That's Diana Ross in the gown.
And you got the white hat on.
And the little sailor cap. And
oh, wow.
My brother Billy, who is also a comedian and entertainer, and
I didn't know that.
He wrote all my song parodies. Believe, the Britney Spears, Cher. He wrote all the songs to Boozicle the Musical.
Oh, okay.
It's your friend Frank. Sorry.
That's all right. Was that
He's
Frank?
Yeah.
That's your husband, Frank. You should have talked to him. Could have talked to him right now. Yeah, call him up. No, say, Frank, we're on the air.
Frank, you're on the air.
What?
You're on. I'm being interviewed by your friend John Perrotta on Zoom.
Frank, what's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
Good. How you doing? I got to get you over here to plaster one of these days.
Yeah, I'll plaster anything.
Yeah, I got to. Can you plaster my wife? You put her in a corner.
I won't touch.
Come on, Frank. I'll pay well. Just put her in a corner and put some sheetrock up.
We could put her in the wall.
That's even better.
No. Oh my God! You guys,
we get along. I'm not ready to plaster her yet. Good talking to you, Frank.
So can I call you back? Can I call you back, honey?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Frank was on the air.
This is Frank. You're on the air. I love that, Frankie. You know, he plasters on stilts.
On stilts?
On stilts, because to get the high spots, so he wears stilts. And
jeez.
And I've watched them. He and one of his partners, they were plastering this long room, and the two of them were on stilts, and they would go back and forth from each other on these stilts. It was like a ballet. It was a thing of beauty.
It was crazy, huh?
It was really cool. I
gotta say, I know a lot of comedians, Doreen, 29 years of comedy, but your husband, of all the female comedians I met, Frank takes the cake. He's the best. He's my number one. I'm Frank's number one fan.
You are. I know that's the only reason you ever hire me is so you can spend time with Frank. But
you're all right. Frank is the bomb.
You know what? I'm not proud. I'll take it. I'll take the word. And now the mildly amusing Doreen Collins. Thank you.
And I get to sit with Frank. So.
Doreen, do more time. Go ahead. Do 20. Do 30.
So what happened with Diana Ross?
Yeah, Diana.
I'm interested in that.
So my brother Billy he has been a Diana Ross fan forever. Back in the good old days, and he would teach my sister and me arm choreography. Before we could even speak, we knew how to sing Supreme songs, and he would teach us all the moves. So he would go to her concerts wherever she was that he could afford to get to. He would be at her concert, and we were in Indiana, unfortunately, for a while. And he had gone to this show at the Indiana State Fair earlier that day. So he knew that at one point during the show, she was going to call up a couple of kids to dance with her on stage. So when that time came, he dragged me and my sister front and center. And as soon as she said, and now he threw us on stage so that we would, be up there in front of 20,000 people or whatever it was. Yeah. And that was of course, I embellish it a little more when I tell the story. So it was nothing. She doesn't write, she doesn't call. But it was really cool. 8 years old in front of 20, 30,000 people.
That's cool. Yeah.
It was really
I saw Diana Ross at the tent one time. I saw her. She wasn't with the Supremes then, just by herself, but she was awesome.
Yeah. Well, she was still with the Supremes, the original Supremes.
She's got to be 75, 80 years old now, right?
Yes. She just, I forget. I think she just turned 75. I think. Because I went to see her at PPAC with Billy, and she was still Diana Ross, but she was wearing orthopedic shoes. Didn't have quite the glamour that, she used to. But Billy's always been, most people have a stage mother. I have a stage brother. He was always shoving me in somebody's face. Did I ever tell you I met Fred Astaire?
I loved Fred Astaire back in the day.
Yes. And we were at Trader Vic's, which was this very famous bar in New York. And Billy and myself and two other people, we were having dinner. And in walks this man and this woman. They are seated next to us. And my brother leans over and he goes, I think that's Fred Astaire. And I looked over and I was like, oh my God, it is Fred Astaire. And he said, it can't be. He goes, if that's Fred Astaire, I'll eat my tap shoes. Because he's also, my brother's a tap dancer.
Yeah.
So he spends the rest of the dinner calling everybody he's ever met, telling them, I'm sitting next to Fred Astaire. And back then, to call everybody he's ever met, he needed a pocket full of change because there was no such thing as a cell phone. So he's on a payphone, missing Fred Astaire because he's, cha-ching and calling everybody. So as we're leaving, he walks over to their table and he's talking to him and, they're introducing, and he said, and this is my sister. And he grabbed me around the waist and he pushed me toward the table and I fell onto the table, hitting every dish and glass that was on the table, which just went flying on the floor. And one plate's going, whoa, 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 and then stopped. And I went, Mr. Astaire. And he just looked, he was such a gentleman. And this is my friend, Robin Smith, who didn't want to be introduced for obvious reasons. But he was such a gracious gentleman.
Yeah, I loved him. Those are old-time musicals that he did. Once in a while, you catch clips on YouTube or whatever and see him tap dance. And I think him and Gene Kelly would dance in. And, he was awesome.
So great. But those are two of my brushes with fame.
Yeah. Who else did you meet? Any other?
John Perrotta, I met him.
You met John Perrotta.
Yeah, he's okay. No,
That's not Fred Astaire.
he's no Fred Astaire, but I've met Bette Midler, Liza Minnelli. Most of my
Liza and Bette Midler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you meet them?
I think your friend is home. He's caught us, John. Oh, yeah, he caught us.
I wasn't ready.
Oh, God. He just went all the way to Westerly to be told the job wasn't ready.
Oh my God.
What show?
Watch Hill. Fancy.
Rick, you're the man.
Oh, God.
You can see where this interview is going to go.
Where'd you meet Bette Midler?
Bette Midler, again, Billy, infamous Billy, was working at this little tavern in the West Village called the Blue Mill Tavern. That was it, the Blue Mill Tavern. And he calls me one night. I was home because I had hurt my back, so I couldn't move. I'm laying on the floor in our apartment, and he calls me up and he goes, Dor, get down here. He goes, crawl if you have to. Bette Midler just walked in. And I was like, oh my God, I'll be right there. And he goes, but look, she's really shy, so just try to be inconspicuous. Don't be you. So just, be.
Tone it down.
Be cool.
Yeah.
So I crawled into the elevator, crawled out to the street, hailed a cab. I walk in and I go right to the bar, and I'm sitting at the bar and I could see her. And if you didn't know her or love her, you wouldn't have known it was her because she was itty bitty. She had this knit cap with a pom-pom on it. She looked like somebody's, little Jewish aunt. So she walks by me to go make a phone call. And on the way back, I went, psst. And she like, psst, come here. And she was looking at me. And I said, yeah, come here. I'm trying to be inconspicuous. So she comes over. And I go, I love you. I love you so much. I have seen you since you came out of the bathhouse. I'm such a fan. And this is when nobody knew who she was. Unless you were gay, you still didn't know who Bette Midler was because she was still doing the Copa and all these little venues. Again, she was so gracious. She said, oh my God, thank you so much. And she was shy and quiet. And that was but she was just sweet. So sweet.
Where was that you met her?
That was in the Blue Mill Tavern in the West Village because she lived right around the corner on Barrow Street.
When was this? That was
1970 something, probably like 77 maybe.
Jeez.
I don't think she'd ever done a movie yet.
Yeah.
Not one that was seen by the general audiences.
I remember one time I went out to New York and Paul Schaefer walked by me from Letterman.
Yeah.
So him, I don't know if I've met too many big, I can't think offhand. I probably have here and there, but.
Well, and I stop everybody, but I try to be, because you'll hear stories that people will say, oh, I met so-and-so, what a bitch, what a jerk they were. And I'm like, but wait a minute, what was the circumstance? Did you butt into their dinner? Or did you, what was the circumstance? Because you don't know where they just came from or where they're on their way to or what's in their head. They're not on. So if you invade their space, maybe they will be a bitch because some stranger just came running up and
it gets to a point where they can't take much more. Where did you meet Liza?
Liza was, and I didn't talk to her because I was warned. And this was at Sardi's. And again, we were at the bar. And she walked in, and
you're at the bar an awful lot, though.
I was just thinking that. I
don't want to say you're talking about coffee, but you're at the bar an awful lot. Everybody you met, well, I was at the bar.
That's where you meet people, John. But she went in this private bar, and Billy in the bar. It's Billy that takes me to these bars, John. He was a very bad influence. He's a good interview because he's met everybody because he was a bartender.
Where does he live?
He lives here now, but he lived in New York for 30 years. He's fun. Maybe next time. That'll be a next time.
Yeah, we'll get him on next time.
Yeah. But so she was in this back room, and this is during her cocaine days. So my brother said, don't approach her. because you don't know what you're going to get. She's either going to, make out with you or pummel you. So don't, and I can relate to that. So I walked into the room, I accidentally walked into the room and, they both looked and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sorry. And I walked out because Lord only knows what they were doing. Who else? Who are some other? I'll think about it. I mean, living in New York, you would, I've walked by Carol Channing, who looked like a drag queen. God love her, rest her soul. The Harlettes, I actually was kind of friends with. The Harlettes were Bette's backup group back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I knew them. Who else? Ron Palillo, remember him, Horshack? He was a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, he was a friend of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, he was cool. I like Horshack.
Well, he went to school with Billy. And so I met him through my brother.
What was he like? I know he passed away, but what was he like?
Yeah, I loved him. He was awesome. I remember he was at our house when I first moved to Rhode Island. He was doing a show in Theater by the Sea. And so I went and picked him up to come and hang out because he didn't know anybody. So we're at the house and I got a call to do something, some live something. And he said, what are you charging for that? And I said, I don't know, $250. And he goes, $250? He goes, what are you, crazy? He goes, you should be getting at least $1,200. And I'm like, dude, I don't have a 70s sitcom hit under my belt. And we're in Rhode Island. $250, trust me, if I get it, it'll be fine. But he was always telling me, you don't charge enough. Well, I don't know who you know. Because he's the one I called. I'm sorry, see, it's the coffee, John. Just sit there and listen.
I am.
Oh, go ahead. This is your show.
Oh,
Did you have a question?
Yep.
No, he's the one I called when this promoter I knew called to ask me to box Tanya Harding. And, oh, so you didn't read my book, Confessions of a Working Girl or How to Get Laid Off.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, well, that's okay. A lot of people didn't. But so my friend John called and he said, Dor, I got a gig for you. Okay. He goes, you're going to box Tanya Harding. And I went, oh, okay. I used to fight back in the day, So I was like, okay. I said, well, how much am I getting? And he said, well, it depends on whether or not you last 3 rounds. And I said, okay. He goes, if you last 3 rounds, you'll get $1,000. If you don't, you get nothing. And I went, well, okay. I said, let me make a phone call. So I called Vinny Paz and I said, Vinny, I have this opportunity to box Tanya Harding. And he goes, Dor, you don't want to do that. I'm like, what do you mean I don't want to do it? I got guns. He goes, Dor, you got water pistols. Have you seen Tanya Harding lately? And I, no. And he goes, Dor, find another way to make money. So I was like, oh, okay. So then now Ron was at my house and he goes, what do you get? No, I called Ron. He wasn't at the house. I called him and he had just done that celebrity match with Screech from Saved by the Bell. So I said, Ron, what did you get paid for that? He goes, I got $65,000 just to keep from getting knocked out. I went, $65,000 and I'm going to get $1,000 if I last 3 minutes or 3 rounds. No, was it 3 minutes? It doesn't matter. It was still stupid, pitiful money. So I called the guy back and I was like, no. And oh no, then I Googled Tanya Harding. She was a beast. I didn't know that. I'm thinking the little figure skater. She was meaty then, but she was a freaking beast. So I attribute Vinny Paz to saving my life.
You would have got killed. She would have killed you. You would have got annihilated.
Of course I would. And the guy's going to me, Dor, just dress like your Doreen character and run around the ring. And I'm like, no, because when she catches me, I will be fruit salad.
Where was this going to be at?
I don't remember. I either in Providence or P-Town, one or the other.
Jeez.
It didn't happen.
Crazy. That's crazy, Doreen. So what else is going on? Have you, I know that you had a lot of shows canceled when the pandemic hit. Have you guys picked up anything? Or
we actually did a private show last week that had been booked well, over 6 months ago. And I didn't think it was going to happen because it was for an 80th birthday party. And I kept calling the woman saying, are you sure, you're doing it? And it was at a country club. And she said, they're following all the protocol. It's just family. The room seated 200, but there were only 26. So there was distancing. But, I'm super paranoid about all this. And Charlie is equally, and he's had a heart, he had a heart attack. And I'm like, Charlie, you should be concerned because you're the one, you're old and you're at risk. But we decided we'd wear masks, and David Cicilline actually sent me a shield to double protect. So when we got there, have you worn those shields?
My daughter gave me one, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I got it right here, though.
Okay, wait, let me get mine. Mine's up here, hold on. Wait a minute. Same thing.
Doreen's getting the same thing?
Same thing, only mine's black. And then, so I moved, and then, so.
So you did the show like that?
Well, no, I did the show like this.
Yeah.
With this on. But I also tried to eat. So I kept trying to eat, and I'm doing this the whole, so I have a frosting on my thing. But, so I took this off because I just kept putting the mic under the shield. Charlie took everything off, which I didn't like, but I stayed away from him because, he felt safe. He wasn't near the audience. He and I stayed, far away from each other. Yeah. And it was still, and the whole audience had their masks on. So you could see that they were smiling. You could hear them laughing. But there's that underlying, it was weird. It was really weird. And even though, we've been talking about booking things, until this is over, and by over, I mean they have some kind of vaccine, I'm not comfortable being in a room full of people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is, that's what we live for.
Yeah, and it's tough. Yeah.
So, I mean, they love the show, but we might, before the snowfall, attempt an outdoor show. Yeah. Maybe. But here's the other thing, John, like that show, it was family. In fact, there were supposed to be 50 people, and family was backing out, because people are nervous. I don't know, even if there was a show, I'm not sure if people would show up. Then I'm not sure if the people that do show up are people I want to be in the company of, because they're people that maybe aren't concerned enough. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
But I have been working, and I don't think I've mentioned this to you. I have another TV show that has been, postponed because of this, because it's called Old News with Doreen Collins. Yeah. And it's stuff for, again, our age and up. It's similar to Aging Disgracefully, only it's going to be like a magazine format, like an Entertainment Tonight kind of thing. Where do seniors go for dating? How do you date? We shot a segment about, it was an intergenerational theater class. This high school class had, they were 70 years old and up, come in and take the class with them, and then they put on a show. And they would learn from each other, just sharing stories and experiences. So we filmed that. I just shot a ballet class from the State Ballet of Rhode Island, where I was flanked by a 63-year-old and a 66-year-old. And the median age in that class was 60. So they were these, 60-year-old ballerinas who could still put their legs, behind their ears. Which
oh, man.
I haven't done in ages. But they were awesome. And you weren't looking at old ladies creaking and squeaking and bending. You were looking at ballerinas, man. And it was I lasted half the class. And there was it was right after that storm. So the air conditioning was broken.
Oh my
and
God.
It was hot. The teacher is 82.
82.
82.
Jeez. Oh man.
So it's stuff like that to show older people that, we're not getting older, we're getting better because we're still doing things with wisdom. And we're not retiring, we're reinventing.
So you're filming some stuff for the show, but it's not.
Well, because we stopped filming because of the pandemic, because again, I'm going to be talking to seniors and we weren't supposed to. We're starting to do a little more filming now. We're starting to do more filming now, but we're still being really cautious. We can't do, like, I'm going to film Frank plays in an over 70 softball league. They play a doubleheader every Sunday. And these guys, they're all injured, of course. They all have knee braces on and they're, running is comical. But they're playing, John, a doubleheader in, 80, 90 degree weather sometimes. And they're awesome athletes. What else? I'm going to cover vintage pet rescue because even old doggies are still, enjoying life. And so it's just, hopefully it's just going to show feel good stories of,
So you don't even know when that'll be on then now because of the pandemic?
No, it'll go on as soon as we have shot enough stuff, which we're not far away from now. So I will keep you posted. And because that's when I'll go back on Facebook and start. I'm not on social media as much as.
I used to come on a lot to promote my shows.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been putting these Zoom shows out and I got the YouTube channel going now, trying to build that up. But I go on Facebook here and there. Try to put something funny or maybe not so funny, but I'll try to post something here or there. I love Dean Martin. I get subscribed to his something. I get Dean Martin, his shows from the 60s, like every day, documentaries on Dean Martin. Sometimes I share them. I don't know if people watch them, but I watched one this morning. He saying everybody loves somebody. They showed clips of him with Jerry Lewis, with the Rat Pack and his TV show. So I love Dean Martin. I'm big on Dean Martin.
He reminds me of my father. My father used to sing Dean Martin songs to me when I was little.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's one of my favorite because he was so good looking and just so smooth, but so natural.
They say he's the king of cool. He's cool. He's a cool guy.
Yes.
And I was going to see him I think it was around in the 80s. I went with my mother and I think my wife, my mother-in-law. So it was around the 80s. I saw it was supposed to be Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. And then Dean Martin, I guess, was getting sick and he pulled out. So it was Liza, Sammy Davis, and Frank Sinatra. So it was still good.
Wow.
But I was my one shot to see Dean Martin, and that's why I went because I really wanted to see Dean Martin, and so I never got to see him.
Yeah, I love Liza, but she's no Dean Martin. I saw Frank Sinatra on his last tour, and it was really bittersweet because he had monitors all over the stage with his lyrics and he was still, and I can relate to this though, he was still screwing up, but you didn't care because you're watching a legend. Getting all choked up. I'm getting all, yeah, those were the good old days, John.
Oh yeah. I'm 62 now. I'm getting up there, Doreen. Hopefully we got a while ago.
So you'd be a good interview for the show too, because you have created your comedy factory, even though I know you've been doing it a long time. Hasn't it, before, we got hit with a pandemic, you had a resurgence. You were crazy busy.
Yeah, it was going really good.
Yeah. But there again, you retired from one job to really concentrate on another. And that's an interesting story. because you're not, well, you are sitting home doing nothing. But that's not intentionally. You're still working. You still want to work.
Yeah.
Just not in jail, but you know.
I don't want to be back there. Yeah.
Do you tell stories about that?
Not too many. Sometimes in my act, I throw out something, but not too much. That place, when I would get out of there, when I started that job at the prison, I used to take it home. Some guys do that. You take it home, and eventually, I somehow got to the point where I could leave it behind. I try to just leave there and leave it behind, because it can be some stressful times in there, you know. And so I was glad to retire.
Yeah.
It was like, and I don't know if I ever told you, I walked in there, I was 60, and I was going to do 2 to 5 more years. And I had enough time, man. I had about 36 years, started at 24. And I walked in, my boss said, "Better make your cell block a mental health unit." He was all day long explaining what they were going to do, how it was going to be. At 2:30, I called my other lieutenant. I said, "Put me out a half hour early. I'm retiring." He said, "What?" I walked out the front door. Nobody believed me. I never went back. I got my paperwork from the retirement board. I put it in. I said, "I got enough time." I said, I don't need to be involved in a mental health unit. You know, I got my own issues, Doreen. I don't need to be.
I do remember that. I do remember that, because we were friends then, and I remember that story and how quickly but that's crazy. So you're not only with criminals, you're with crazy criminals, which I guess is a little redundant.
It's a little bit much.
Yeah, I mean,
I just had enough. They say when you know you had enough, and that one day came, and I just knew. I felt it. I said, "That's it." I did it from when I was 24. Some guys stayed there till 7. There was a guy who was 82 years old. They don't leave. They don't want to leave. So I didn't want to be into that thing and get used to overtime and get stuck there. So when I left, I felt like $1 million within a couple of months. I knew I did the right thing, and then the comedy picked up even more. And those first couple of years were awesome. I was having a ball. I was doing shows.
I know.
All you and Charlie and everybody, I was having a good time. And then the pandemic hit, and it's been like, wow. So I turned to the Zoom shows just for something to keep in the game a little bit, because we're not getting the gigs,
But even that, your stick-to-itness with this, because everybody, when it first happened, what can I do? How do you, reinvent, and how can I get out there? And people would do a show here, a show there, but it's what you're doing. Again, it's tough. You have to find guests. You have to stick to the schedule to make sure you get a following, because if you just do one every, blue moon, we'll see you again sometime. So you've actually created another business.
Yeah.
It might not be as lucrative as the other one was, but at least you're sticking to it, man. And
I'm trying to stay in the game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Even though we're not performing, like I'd rather perform, but there's nothing right now. So doing this, and I'm having fun. I'm getting to see like all my friends, comedian friends, and having a good time getting there. Otherwise, I wouldn't see anybody.
Yeah. See, I have no friends, but
you have no friends.
But I'm okay with that. But with you, it's something shiny just went by. I forgot what I was going to say. You have kind of stepped into the shoes that Charlie had created in giving so many new comedians opportunities. You're the godfather now. The ring has kind of been handed down, because if those kids want to try out their new stuff, they go to Big Daddy, and they can come to you for guidance. And you've always been very generous with time, stage time, and just talking to people. You're not too big for your britches. You're still you. You're very kind to people.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I always try to treat the new comedian like I do the big headline. I try to treat everybody the same. I found that works in life. Don't look down on anybody. Don't look, just everybody treat them good. And if you do that, you're better off, I think.
But that's because that's the person you are. You're a nice guy. You can't pretend to be nice. I've tried. It doesn't. It just no, not really. You're genuinely nice and you care about people, and I've seen you tell bad comics, good job. You're not.
I try to keep.
Thank you for that, Sean. But you encourage people and you encourage comedians, and you've never come across as better than.
Yeah, I never. Sometimes you go up, you have that great set, or you have an off night, or whatever. I look at this. I know I had a lot of ups and downs, and until I got consistent. But I never look down on anybody because we start at different times, and everybody takes a while wherever they get. Some people are headlining in 2 years, like Stephanie Peters.
Yep.
Other people took me, 10, 12 years or whatever. Everybody's different. You know what I mean? Yep. So I don't look down on anybody. If they have an offset or,
right.
Can't look down on people,
Well, yeah, but it doesn't stop some people. And it doesn't matter. No matter how nice or not nice you are to people, you don't know where they're going to be. And that's always been an actor thing. In LA, they always say, "Oh, LA, it's so phony," because everybody's nice to you no matter what, because you don't know who they're going to be tomorrow. The kid bringing you coffee today could be the head of a studio tomorrow. And in New York, they're just a little more blunt and honest. And I don't know how I switched that gear, but it's true. New York was always a little more, you know what, honey, you're not that good. Maybe you should, reconsider your career choice.
Oh, man.
And I kind of like the brutal honesty. I think honesty, constructively, you learn from. But it doesn't pay to be mean to people, because if you're mean to somebody out of jealousy or trying to hold them back, that doesn't make you better.
No, it's not worth it,
This is the philosophical portion of the show, which I'm going to give advice now.
So when's your show? When do you think it'll be on, Doreen?
What's today, August?
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of September.
Can you say what channel or anything like that, or you can't?
We're going to be on the CW Providence. Probably
okay.
The way it's supposed to work right now, unless it's changed since the inception, we're going to be on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8 or 9. How's that for vague? And at the show, each episode will run 6 weeks. So you'll have plenty of time to miss it. Or you can tune in and retune in. But the game plan is Tuesday, Thursday mornings on the CW Providence. Tune in to Old News with Doreen Collins.
That's cool. That's like, what was that? Like your 4th or 5th TV show?
4th. Because I Road Bites, Unreal Deal, and I used to do the wedding showcase for NBC. And now this. But I've pitched when I walked away from Road Bites, when I wanted to walk back in, I had to pitch. John, I did so much pitching, the Red Sox were scouting me. Vic Betters didn't want to hear it. He just and ironically, I've seen a lot of things that I pitched coming into fruition in other ways, but with much younger people. Now, and I'm not saying, no, I am saying, I think there's a little ageism involved. However, maybe I'm not what they want. I love what I do. I hope I'm good at it, but I know from watching TV that people sit there and judge, because I do. And a lot of people on TV are just not good. So maybe I'm one of those people that when you see me on TV, you're going, she's not good. How does she have a show? But I do feel like the people I interview, I make comfortable, and that's
you're very nice to talk to. You're very easy going, and
thank you. And I think that's what I bring to the table. I'm not like, so what did you, it's a conversation, because that's what, with Unreal Deal, that's what we used to do. We would show up at the venue before the show would start so that I could just become kind of intimate with whoever the interviewer was, so that when we started the interview, it was like, a conversation, and instead of an interview. I had one woman when I showed up, she goes, can we go to the bar? And as you know, John, I'm no stranger to a bar, but because she was so nervous. And by the time we filmed, it was as though we were sitting at a bar because we were just two girlfriends chatting about what she does. And so she was at ease. And I think that's the key to a good interview.
Yeah.
That and good questions, which I don't always have. So.
I don't even prepare for this. I usually, maybe I'll get a couple of things in my head, but I find, just like my act, if I wing it, it seems to work. It seems to go pretty good. I've had some great guests on, and I started out, well, I'll do Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, and sometimes I do 5 a week. I mean, I'm retired.
Right.
I mean, my business collapsed in the comedy world right now. So I turned to this, and it's helping to keep me sane.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nutty guy, but this is keeping me somewhat sane. If I didn't have this, I didn't connect with my comedy friends and through the years and get different guests. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I really am,
And that's what makes people want to watch. Because if you're having fun, and this is with shows, if you have a good show, and I always say this to Charlie, our best shows, I give more credit to the audience than to us. Because if we have a good audience, anybody, if you're a performer or a comedian and you have a good audience, shame on you if you don't have a good set. Yeah. Because, we're doing the same show every time. It's the same jokes, it's the same songs. But if the audience loves you, it feeds you and it makes you better. And
yeah.
I miss it.
I miss it. I'll tell you what I mentioned before, the first 2 months of the pandemic, I'll never forget. I mean, I had a show canceled in New Bedford. That was March 13th. I had like 150 people coming. It was like they called me on a Thursday night, the night before the show, cancel it because of the pandemic. The owner said, I can't do it. And then the next night I had Asia Grill. We usually got 90 people. Well, let's do it. We had 90 reservations. 27 people came. And that night I knew
that was it. Yeah.
There's trouble coming here. There's something's going on. And then when the governor shut everything down, probably for a couple of months, I was like very, very down. I was used to going. And all of a sudden, hit a wall, and that was it.
Well, that's the same with us. I told you, I spent my birthday, which was March 14th, refunding almost $20,000 in tickets because we were sold out through June. And it was
tough. It's tough to do.
It was really tough. And then I'm getting fat.
I gained weight.
That 19. This mask.
You're getting fat, Doreen. You've never been.
This mask used to be my bikini. Okay. I can't wear this anymore.
Yeah, I had lost 64 pounds. I was on a diet at Miriam Hospital. The pandemic hit. I gained back about half. I'm going back on it next week. I'm gonna try to see if I can get back into it. But I was so zoned in. My life was going probably the best ever when this pandemic hit. Life throws things at you, and you got to be able to, I guess, get up off the mat. Took me a few weeks. I got up off the mat, and different comedians were doing these different things on Zoom, and I said, I don't want to. I can't do anything like that. And then I said to myself, I can't do my act because I work the crowd, but I can maybe do like a talk show, like where we joke around and talk serious, joke around or whatever. And I'm having fun. It's working for me so far. I mean, we're getting people are watching, and I get comments. They're enjoying it, so I'll keep doing it as long as people are watching. What do we get to lose at this point?
And we thank you for that, John. It's a public service that you're doing.
Well, we gotta wrap things up, Doreen.
Okay, John.
A wrap.
I have to talk to Frank.
Because in 10 minutes, my shrink is calling me. You wouldn't want me to go without my shrink. He calls me twice a week.
Does he? Oh, that's nice. Does he charge you?
My therapist. Yeah. I've known the guy over 30-something years, so.
Oh, wow.
I've had a history, Doreen.
No, John, we all have history, John.
Oh, we got histories. I got a history.
We're just talking comedy right now.
Someday if I get on here and talk about the history of John Perrotta, that'd be wow. That
Well, we'd be on a different channel, but
Yeah, it'd be a
I would
different
like that
channel.
show.
That'd be a crazy show.
Oh my God. Here, say goodbye to Frank. There's
Frank, I love you, brother.
Take care, man. Love you
You're
too.
the man, the plaster of the year, Rhode Island Monthly.
Yeah.
yes, classic plastering. If you need a plaster, 640-7969. Ask for
There you
Frank.
go. He can plaster and Doreen can sing and do a Cher impersonation.
Right, with my shield and my bikini.
Hey, Doreen, as always, it was great having you on.
John, thank you.
I wish you luck with your TV show and
Thank
appreciate your kind words. I mean, I get when people say good stuff sometimes to me, I have a hard time handling it. Yeah, I don't know.
But that's
But I
part
mean,
of what's so
I
endearing.
like helping people, but yeah, sometimes it's hard for me to accept the accolades, I guess you'd say.
Well, you deserve all of them. And thank you. On behalf of the community, John, I thank you.
I loved your Bette Midler, Liza stories, Diana Ross. I've enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. So
Thanks.
stay healthy, you, Frank, and tell Charlie stay healthy, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay. Thanks,
All right,
John.
Doreen. All right.